Hello everyone, Mark here. I am the Faceless Reviewer, and today I am reviewing Color Rush. Color Rush is a 2020 romantic Korean drama about a boy, Yoon Woo, played by Yoo Jun, who can only see monochrome colors. However, he begins to see color once he meets Yoo Han, played by Han Jun, former member of boy group The Boys. The South Korean film industry is extremely good, in my opinion, at CGI and cinematography in general. South Korean film industry has some of, if not the best camera work I've seen in terms of filming, and the camera work and CGI post-production work done in Color Rush is absolutely no different. The show is based around colorblind people called monos. In this world, monos are different from other people who experience colorblindness in that they can only see monochrome colors. However, monos do have an opportunity in which they can see colors if they meet a probe. A probe is someone who, once you see them, you can see colors. However, you can only see colors for as long as you see them. The color rush leaves soon after you stop seeing that person. To emphasize this, whenever the audience is meant to be looking at the world through Yoonwoo's eyes, everything is monochrome, and when we aren't, everything is in full color. The back and forth switch between the two is very seamless and doesn't come across as choppy like you might think it would. There are also instances where Yoonwoo starts to lose his color after the color rush, or times where the color flickers in its intensity, which again was very seamless. It was very smooth. It makes you feel like you're actually looking at the world through his eyes. You can tell that they did a really great job in post-production. Another thing I immediately loved about this drama is the way in which they introduced the romantic narrative. I loved it because they didn't adhere to any of the tropes that are typical in romances that focus on people of the same sex. They treated the drama as if it was a normal romantic drama, which is rare, not only in South Korean film industry, but in general. I've seen a lot of gay films and TV shows from various countries, and what most of them have in common is that the plot of gay media tends to be centered around someone within the story being gay and how their world is affected by them being gay. This person being gay or having a homosexual romance within the plot is rarely treated as just a romance. The entire plot and dialogue is consumed with how this person being gay is such a big deal. Gay media rarely shows being gay as one facet of who you are, and more so as something that makes up all of you, which is the reason why I love shows like Color Rush, The Way He Looks, or How to Get Away with Murder, and the way that they handled Connor's character. These shows give their gay characters the same range that they give their straight characters. They aren't bound into the stereotypical parameters of what usually happens within gay media. Moving on to plot, and this section does include spoilers for those who wish to avoid them. In Color Rush, because of how rare it is for monos to meet their probes, crime rates are really high amongst those that do. This is because after not seeing color for most of their life and then seeing color, once you see your probe, some monos become obsessed with their probes and end up committing crimes like kidnapping, murder, and other things in a quest to see color more often. In the beginning of the show, we learn that the main character's mom, who was also a mono, disappeared when he was young. We also learn about many kidnappings that have been going on within the mono community. So for this reason, the main character was resolute in not ever wanting to meet his probe, essentially because he didn't want to ever become like the monos that had succumbed to crime after meeting them. This struggle of wanting to see color but also not wanting to end up as a criminal like the other monos Yoonwoo often sees on the news is a struggle we see a lot, and actor Yoo Jun does an amazing job of showcasing this struggle in a way that feels very authentic. One thing I think that helps is the excellent camera work. When Yoonwoo is feeling certain emotions, the camera highlights his mannerisms and does close-ups of what it is they want to emphasize. So for instance, when Yoonwoo sees color for the very first time, one of the first things he does is look down at his pants. When he runs his finger down his blue uniform pants, his finger is trembling slightly to emphasize how overwhelmed he feels. There's also a moment in episode 4 when Yunwoo sees Yuhan up close and he begins to examine him. His hands reach out towards the bright yellow of Yuhan's sweater with wonder, and he looks up at Yuhan with that same wonder as he examines the colors that make up Yuhan. The phenomenal acting plus the camera work does an amazing job of showcasing the emotions of the characters and also pushing the romance between the two characters in a way that feels authentic. You can tell that Yunwoo and Yuhan are obviously interested in each other in ways that are more than strictly platonic, but the reasons, at least on Yunwoo's end, are yet to be fully explained or discovered. Lastly, I'd like to quickly discuss dialogue. I think the dialogue overall was really great. There is a bit of an information dump in the first 5 minutes of the first episode, but I personally think it was necessary. There could have definitely used more action to show certain aspects, like what happens with the mother, especially because they do end up talking about it a bunch. So it may come across as repetitive to some people. There are also times when I feel like the dialogue is too romantic, and I mean romantic in that dialogue is meant to tell the story. However, dialogue has to still sound natural. It has to mimic natural speech while not actually being natural speech. So there has to be a certain balance. I think for the most part, Color Rush does a good job of this, but there are certain instances where the dialogue sounded too romantic and not as faux natural as it could have been. Overall, the drama is really good and I would definitely recommend. You can watch it legally on Viki, although only the first 2 episodes are free. You'll need to purchase a Viki Pass to view the rest of the episodes.